So it's been a couple weeks after OP14 released, and there's been a lot of price movements with the booster box case, but also a lot of the singles, a lot of cards that aren't silver cards, gold cards, or manga cards. A lot of SPs have actually done really, really well. We are going to be covering all of that in today's video. I'm also going to be showing you some early PSA 10 auctions and everything in between. This set is honestly such a good set. I think so much supply got dumped at one period of time where that's why it is cheap. But if you're comparing it to other sets that are a similar price, like OP10, OP12, I mean, get out of here. It is so much better than any of those other sets. So let me show you all the price movements with OP14, because originally the cards were expensive. Now they're really expensive. So yeah, let me show you. Already know what better way to start than the booster box. So the booster box has gone down to about $240. Now I will be talking about this more in tomorrow's video, so I'm not going to be talking about it too heavily, but I mean, honestly, it's pretty, it does make sense. It's just a lot of it did get dumped at a very quick period of time. It was about 170 for a good amount of time, and then as the floor raised for One Piece, so did this box. Got up all the way, some sales all the way on the high of $300, and it definitely did. It's averaged at about 240, so I do think it will definitely do well. And if you're looking for those short-term returns, like if you're just trying to secure a good purchase that's going to get you some nice short-term returns, I mean, there is no other better box than OP14, like 1,000,000%. This box is so cheap versus the quality that's inside. And you know what the beauty about buying these really new boxes is that it's really easy to get boxes. Everybody has boxes. So if you want to acquire like a bunch of cases, like you can for 2.7k. I mean, you can get so many cases. Look at all these cases that's listed at that is listed at like $2,750, right? Like all of these cases here. So it is a very like user-friendly set where you can just buy like as much as you want, or more of a whale-friendly set. So I definitely would recommend, if you're trying to get those short-term trades where you can get like that big boy return real quick, this is definitely probably your best bet out of all booster boxes. But yeah, overall, doing pretty decent, the booster box. Moving on to these singles. These singles have been doing so well. So first of all, let's talk about the buggy. So the buggy has been selling on the high for $2,900. Damn. Okay, so that is really expensive. I'll show you a couple PSA 10 auctions in a sec. We've got the manga is actually, funnily enough, actually going down. The manga is actually the only card that's been pulling back, which I find absolutely like hilarious, by the way. Mangas just aren't what they used to be. Just going to go ahead and say it, I still prefer mangas. When I got in the hobby, 03, 04, mangas were the premium item. Now you've got SPs, now you've got, although they don't really do treasure rares that much. But now you've got like SPs, you've got these insane promos, you've got gold, silver. I'm sorry, but I still prefer mangas. But this manga has been pulling back, which is, I mean, I guess it's whatever. Look, it was quite expensive. It was like, yeah, selling all the way on the high for $1,700. Oh man, that is kind of a lot right out the bat, but look, and especially for a set where there's only one manga, so pulling it would likely be easier than other mangas, but anyways, I digress. Let's talk about the Zoro everybody loves. This card, I was thinking it'd be like maybe a $500 card at the most, but nope, this card is insane. So I'm yet to see it in person, but if you look at some sold listings, you'll see that it is selling. You see, you've got a light played one, you've got some dodgy ones, but for the most part, it's selling for mostly about $1,100 to $1,200, and then if you hop on eBay, you'll see it's like $1,400, and yeah, overall, it is definitely selling for a pretty decent amount. It is for sure a very popular card. This card is soon, if it keeps this momentum up, going to eclipse the manga, which is pretty insane. But yeah, overall, the set is doing really strong. So now let's look at some auctions. So the first auction we've got is the Zoro. This has 3 days left and 16 hours, so that is pretty cool. There's only 3 PSA 10s, but I mean, like, that kind of means nothing. So this is $3,250. Now, if you'll check, you'll see that it sells for about the $1,200 range. On eBay, it's a little bit more. Like, if you can get pictures, you go on for like $1,100, $1,150. Look, these are probably like a best offer accepted. I mean, oh, okay, maybe it did actually sell for that. I'd have to chuck it into 130 point, but you kind of just never know with those big boy sales. eBay just documents sometimes where just it won't even sell, but like here, it literally didn't even sell for this, so it is a little bit inaccurate sometimes. So the best way to kind of do it is usually just look at the average on like auctions, because auctions usually don't have like best offer acceptance, more like crystal clear. So you can see like the average is about 1150. You got like an auction here, you've got an auction here, so it seems about 1150 to 1200. So double that would be 2.4k. This is 3.2k. That is an extra $1,000 on top. Damn. Okay. We're really doing this, right? This is going to be an expensive card. Like, as a PSA 10, I don't know if it's going to hold this. Quite frankly, I'll be honest with you, I kind of doubt it. The single does have to go up in order for it to sustain this price, because this is like almost 3 times the raw price, which usually the number is about 2 times the raw price. We'll see what it ends at, but 3,250, I do feel like that is kind of a lot. Just for the sole reason that the gem rate of this is going to be so high. I understand that it's going to be like quite backlogged because PSA is pretty bad, but like 3 times, and the auction hasn't even ended. Like, if this thing ends at 4, 5k, I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous. This right now, if this goes up to $1,800 more, so let's just say it goes to 5k. I don't know if it would, but let's just say it would. That's the equivalent of a chopper, a Manga chopper PSA 10. I mean, that's pretty crazy, to be honest with you. It's a good card, don't get me wrong. But dude, it's like $1,100 as a PSA 10, and you got like a 95% chance it's going to get a PSA 10. It's $1,100 raw, but you have like a 95% chance to get a PSA 10. So it's like, dude, I don't know why this is so expensive. I think it's just maybe a bit of shill bidding, who realistically knows? I mean, a lot of people are clearly eyeing the auction, so yeah, anyways, moving on. Another thing that we have is the Manga, and it is $3,250. So it ends in 1 day and 17 hours. So this is going to be quite interesting to watch, but you'll notice that the pop is a lot higher. There's 58 PSA 10s. So that either means that the SP is really, really difficult to pull, or I guess people are probably just sending the Manga more versus the SP, where a lot of people would kind of just keep it loose. A lot of time Mangas, it's like, you know, kind of a bit of a like kind of something that you kind of just, you don't even think about it. Like, you don't even have to, you kind of just autopilot send it off to PSA. SP might be a little bit different, but yeah, overall, I mean, this is pretty cool to see this Manga selling, well, on auction for 3,250. Will it hold this price? I don't realistically know. Considering there are already 58 PSA 10s, this is the only card from OP14, only Manga from OP14, and also OP14 is like getting ripped a lot. Like, it's the most affordable good set of One Piece right now. So I would be willing to bet the population of this Manga is really going to explode. I reckon we could see maybe like 2,000, maybe 1,500 within like a year. Of course, it does depend on the printing, but it's nothing special. It's not PRB, it's not EB, so I would be willing to bet this is going to be quite a common Manga compared to some other ones. But yeah, overall, the set is looking really good. I just want to quickly highlight something, that the case is actually cheaper if you buy a case versus 12 loose boxes. So 12 times 240 is 2,880. Though the case is 2,737. So you can get the case for about $150 cheaper than getting 12 loose boxes. So if you do have the piggy bank for it, probably would recommend going for the case. There is no premium. It's the same thing as OP13. Last time I checked, which was a couple days ago, the OP13 case is actually cheaper than 12 loose boxes. So like, if you're looking for the best bang for your buck, that is probably the best discount you're going to get. But yeah, overall, honestly, if you are looking to invest in One Piece, this is probably your best bet, if I'm being honest with you. Look, the thing is with One Piece is that it was underrated for a very long time. It was underpriced for a very long time. However, if you look, you'll see like this box at $240, it's a really good quality box. I think like the vibes that it gives me is something like Destined Rivals. For anyone who's not into Pokemon, this was a highly anticipated set, but a lot of it got released when it came out. So it crashed from like 400 on pre-order all the way down to about 220. But once the supply sort of flushed out, it's a good set. So it kind of just went up. I feel like a very similar situation is going to happen with OP14. There's not really much foreshadowing needed. You've got so many grails inside. You've got the gold buggy. You've got the silver buggy. You've got the SPs. I mean, I didn't even cover all of the SPs. You've still got the Boa Hancock, which is like $1,000 as well. There's so many cards in here. This is such a dense set. So $240 is just such a good price, where I would be saying, like, if you want to invest in One Piece, this might just be the best box. Things like PRBO2, OP13, this box, like those are your best bets in my opinion. I think they're just such good items. Basically just new sets where there hasn't been enough time for the box to flush out, but the singles speak for themselves and they've proven themselves. So it's like now all it needs to do is just the box goes up. So yeah, that's just kind of my opinion on OP14 right now. I'll keep you guys updated as the price moves, but yeah, overall, I think this box is definitely, time is ticking. I don't think it's worth waiting. I think it's just worth buying it now. Dollar cost average, as usual. I always recommend on this channel to dollar cost average, especially when there's a lot of volatility. But for something like OP14, don't procrastinate buying it. Don't wait for it to hit $300. Don't wait for it to hit $350. Don't wait for it to hit $500 and then decide to buy it. Please do not do that. I know so many people didn't buy OP13 when it was $170, and I was saying a lot like, hey, I really think it's worth buying this. I really think it's worth buying this, like over and over again. And people ignored it, and like now they're so confident in OP13, they're so passionate for it when it's like a $700 box. And I'm not judging anybody, but like if you want to make some returns in the trading card world, there is a level of foreshadowing needed, just like with the stock market. If you want to invest in the stock market, you need to have some foreshadowing. You can't invest in a company that's turning over billions of dollars, but then expect the market cap to be like $1 million. No, you have to do some foreshadowing and see the potential. Once a company reports its earnings, it skyrockets if it's like positive, right? Most of the time. So it's this very similar thing with trading cards. You have to do some foreshadowing. So the thing about OP14 that I love is there's no foreshadowing needed. The singles are so healthy, they're doing so well, but the box hasn't moved, which means it's time for the box to move. Could happen tomorrow, could happen in 5 days, it could happen in 20 days. Who realistically knows? But the longer you procrastinate, the higher chance of you missing out becomes a reality. Just like OP13. It just amazes me how people didn't want to buy it when it was 170, but they're just flocking to buy it when it's $700. It just amazes me. It just genuinely does. I would be willing to bet the exact same thing's going to happen to OP14. Definitely not to the level of OP13 because OP13 is like literally miles and miles ahead of it. But I would expect this to hit 350, 400, and people are going to start panic buying it and going, oh man, is it worth buying at this price? And it's like, well, yeah, it is, but you should have bought it when it was a bit cheaper. But yeah, overall, I mean, we haven't seen any like actual PSA 10 end. There hasn't been enough time, so I'll keep you updated on this manga. I'll keep you updated on the Zoro. But like overall, this set is really, really dense. It really is worth buying it, in my opinion. These kind of cards are the kind of cards that shows Bandai's competence when it comes to this trading card game. A lot of people don't even know this because a lot of people weren't there when One Piece firstly started, but there was so many people saying not to buy One Piece when it firstly started. The reason why is everybody was saying that Bandai are going to stuff it up again and Bandai are going to do a really bad job. But like this card is another example of Bandai's competence when it comes to the trading card world. And I think if you're holding any Bandai products like One Piece, I think it is definitely quite motivating to see cards like this. It shows their ability to make very nice, fresh looking cards. So yeah, that's just a little bit of a side note there. They are doing a fantastic job. I do think the silver cards and gold cards are a bit cheap, to be honest. I still think that. I'm not backing down on that. I don't like the idea of silver and gold cards. I just think it's so unoriginal in my opinion, but SPs are pretty sweet, man. I think SPs are great. Silver cards just aren't for me. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, I just think like these cards are really proving their ability to make nice looking cards. So yeah, but that's going to do for today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.